The yokai series is known for having a lot of variants of yokai, with one in particular by far having the most, that being Let's Befriend Hovernyan, which I'm calling Nyans. This had me thinking, what if I restricted myself to just these Nyans and no other yokai, with some exceptions, but we'll get to that. Anyway, after lightning only... Oh, was it really that long ago? Huh. The power of procrastination, everyone. Anyway, I decided to do the games in reverse order this time to shake things up a bit. Since 3 has by far the most Nyans, we'll start with that one. So, what are the rules of this challenge? Number 1. Only use Nyans. This should be self-explanatory, but apparently not, so to make things clear, this does not count every cat yokai. It's not just yokai with Nyan in the name either. You know what, here's a list, so we're all on the same page here. Hovernyan cow. Also, I may befriend other yokai, obviously, required for like the story and that, but I just can't use them. Except, number 2. I can use other yokai before I have a team of 6 Nyans, but I'll try to use them as little as possible. There's no rules about having to befriend Nyans as soon as they're available this time, as then it would just be Crank-a-kai over and over, or over-leveling to befriend a level 50 daily yokai that's technically available, or even Blaster's Tea, and I think you get the point. Number 3. Crank-a-kai and Blaster's Tea is allowed, because if it wasn't, I'd be locked out at like 70% of these guys. Number 4. The goal of this challenge is to beat every boss. Not just every story boss, not just Tower's Enlightenment, all of them. Number 5. No trading for obvious reasons. Number 6. Chat once again decides the nicknames, but I thought I'd have a theme this time, so they must all be named after cats. Number 7. Daily yokai are allowed. Number 8. I'm using forbidden fruit to make befriending easier. I'm sure you guys don't want to watch me befriend yokai more than actually playing the game, though to be fair, the 100% Medallion series says otherwise. Number 9. If I died something I shouldn't have died to, I have to spin the Wheel of Punishment, which lasts until the next boss. Here's something new to shake things up a bit due to how many embarrassing deaths I've had in the past. Finally, I'll be playing on the tempura side due to the fact there are 0 Nyans exclusive to sushi. So with that out the way, let's get into the run. We named our characters Nyate and Dog. It's certainly better than last time. After moving to America from not Japan, we befriend our first Nyan, being Hovernyan obviously, naming him Nanaki, whatever that's referencing. Now we cut to Dog. Her first Nyan isn't available until we unlock the Crank-a-kai, so nothing special until then. This is why Rule 2 exists. We befriend usapyon, defeat Snitchin, and you already know how this goes. Back to Nyate, I failed to understand American and don't lose to Linguist. Despite being a cat, no, Linguist doesn't count, nor does Kitty Lumbus. I feel I shouldn't be repeating myself, but it turns out yokai fans can't read. That explains why people still ask to link online, and why people don't know that Mr. Goodsight's a yokai. Believe it or not, basic reading ability is needed to enjoy this software, so they're right there on the box. Anyways, I didn't realize I could actually get rid of Linguist, so he'll just stay here until we replace him. This was also done before I decided on to use them as little as possible, so if you want to do this yourself because you think this is technically invalid now, feel free to. Just know I did get more strict with this rule as time went on. Also, how do you say rel? I know most of you are Americans, so these are probably the experts here. If it's just supposed to be like real, then what's the point of the apostrophe? Anyway, back on Dog's side, nothing interesting, minus maybe some foreshadowing and relearning Usapyon's backstory. After watching this cutscene that I forgot existed, that's the end of Chapter 1, with 1 total Nyan. What a great start. On to Nyate's Chapter 2, the FBI came to investigate me for emulating, which of course I would never do. I'm a good law-abiding citizen. I noticed any truck, this is gonna be a big one. It's a big one, Nyan! Hovernyan somehow survives being hit by a big one, and we finally unlock the Crank-a-kai, which means I can scan QR codes for coins that can give me Nyans. Oh, I realized my mic's still on. Yep, scanning QR codes, that's what I was doing. And of course I get no new Nyans. Why do I always get first prize when I don't want it? Luckily I'm able to drop yokai from the crank, so I did exactly that. I also moved Linguist to the back, so it's mainly Hovernyan that we use, with Linguist being a backup. Then we see Nyate's classmates disappear into the Shadow Realm, never to be seen again. Seriously, do these guys ever show up again after like Chapter 2? Detective Holder wearing a different hat then gets to do key quests, everyone's favourite. We're gonna have to pick Tom Nyan here, whose quest we will definitely do. After getting salty bacon, chat made me spin the wheel because Linguist killed him, to which I got Nuzlocke rules. Instead of totally resetting though, when Hovernyan dies, I spin the wheel twice. The other key quests are nothing interesting. What is this? This probably just tells you about the bike quest. I didn't know these guys existed. That's cool that it tells you about the bike quest. Speaking of, yeah, this fight can be brutal. I got no healers and double spin, where I got no tribunity and no ultimates. I realized that these were not made with the early game in mind. Jeez, this is impossible. I literally can't do anything. Alright then, no items. Back to dog, all normal stuff for now. Going to see Dr. Hailey and all that. We also unlocked the crank on dog side, where I finally get the first Nyan on dog side and second Nyan of the run, being Topanyan named Garfield. We then get the 5 yokai for the rocket as usual. Luckily Garfield is an A rank, so we don't have any problems, except for when he stands about doing nothing and guarding, just like his name would suggest. The next day I managed to get Rubious Jane named Chan on dog side, and finish off the chapter by launching a rocket. On Nyate side we get Kiwi-nyan, who is named Tom. We also have classic chat trying to convince me that fighting a level 45 yo criminal is a good idea. We head to the scrapyard to encounter our first boss, Junkernaut. This fight normally isn't very difficult, but when you only have 2 yokai and all these punishment wheel spins, then yeah. Luckily, Chet was willing to let me do this fight while disregarding the wheel spins, because this would otherwise be impossible unless I grinded a bunch. I decided from now on that the wheel's only applicable at the point where things wouldn't become impossibly difficult. And I think when I at least have a full team of 6 is a good point for that. Remember, we're also doing a lot of the post-game, so I'm not just ignoring the wheel for half the run. More like a quarter. Tom died immediately, but somehow Nanaki managed to get him down to like a quarter of his HP before dying. Attempt 2 with some more items thankfully went much better. I managed to defeat him and end the chapter. Both chapter 2s done with 4 Nyans. Not too bad. We do some official battling in City Hall, then go to a watch shop, which coincidentally also happens to do yokai watch upgrades. Now comes the point where we unlock Blasher's Tea, which opens up a whole load of Nyans we can get. Problem is, I only have 2 yokai, neither of which are a healer. What could go wrong? Yeah, we'll leave this for later when I at least have a healer. The food minigame glitched out and I didn't lose the first zombie night this time. Back to dog, I got the bike, went to school during the holidays for some reason, and we get a full refill on the crank guy, but unfortunately don't get any more Nyans. Now, it's terror time! Something I'm all too familiar with now. Garg spotted a very bad spot, but I managed to easily escape on attempt 2. We got Waper, then returned to Sparkopolis at night, to various minigames before fighting Hoaxy Coaxy, which wasn't too bad. And that's another chapter done. Now we can unlock Ambrosia Pavilion, something else I'm all too familiar with, which has quite a lot of Nyans we can obtain. Unfortunately, they are a bit strong for us at the moment with 2 yokai, despite the fact I'm 99% sure the level scale, but we at least got a whole XP orb out of it, which got Chen to level 26? I did my daily cranks, but nothing but first prizes and Kiwi-nyan. You can't make this up. I don't really mention this, but it's sort of an unwritten rule that I don't really use repeat yokai, but I guess this is the exception. Now we have 2 Kiwi-nyan, Tom and Scratch. Just know if I had a full team of 6, I would not be using him. And then with Kitty Lumbus, which I don't understand how people think is a Nyan. Other than being a cat, what part of this screams Nyan? This was one people kept asking about, despite the list of Nyans being in the description, and the rules, and everything else, and it just drives me mad when people keep asking questions when the answer is right there. I put this on screen for a reason. Use your eyes, people, and maybe look at the screen before asking which yokai I'm hunting. And if you're too lazy to read, then don't be surprised when I ignore your question. Anyway, went to the Phantom Art, avoided zombies that can walk through boxes except when he can't, failed where I didn't even know he could fail, then fought Super Manager. I may not have Twirly Pie this time, but I can still somewhat cheese it by not targeting the meats. I also realised here a problem with duplicate yokai. Which one's which? They at least have different names, but it's going to be confusing whose HP is whose. With the half cheese, this fight wasn't all that bad, mine's a close call with Sales Pitch. Didn't even use ultimates. And with that, both chapter 3s are done with 5 total Nyans. I promise there's a whole lot more later. More key quests! At least we get to pick these ones. Can someone remind me what this yokai's name is? Gee, I sure hope nothing bad comes from this circus. On dog side, we open up Catgirl Detective Agency. Yeah, chat named this one too. Alright, the choice would have had a cat yokai for a partner instead of this. Well, dog, it's your lucky day. Now we get our first non-crank-kind Nyan to Jabanyan, being a Hovernyan. We also meet Mr. Krabby Cat, who we unfortunately can't use. We named him Stampy in all caps, if you know, you know. The cat who got me and many others into the series. I tried to make it look like him, and he's also staying charming for now. The good thing about this challenge is that we'll have no shortage of yokai to train him with. I also got rid of our backups as they haven't really been used since like the bike quest on the 8th side. No more training wheels, not like we need them anyway. After putting up posters, getting free amazing milk, and unintentionally getting negative buzz for later, it's time for even more key quests. I definitely fed Terrapotta, what is my luck? Second time this has happened. We also happen to get T-Rex, another yokai we need for later. Where do we find this yokai called Terrapotta and though? Darendelle came here recently. Yes, indeed. Well, he's evolved too, now he's... Beelzebub. You're telling me I spent all this time trying to get the Shard of Evil only for Timidevil to go and evolve himself? New day, new cranks. I got a third prize from a gold capsule. Not sure how that works. We also finally have a healer on the outside, being Hovernyan named Nico. We're also able to get Rongo from a pavilion called Tama. Back on the 8th side, we do a singular key quest. Not sure why it's a quest if there's only one, but anyway, it unlocks the Parlor Chamber of Whimsy, which we will return to. Since we have a healer now, I went back to Blaster's Tea. We managed to defeat Yell's kitchen and clear the suspicious room. And swipe it. The end twins changes depending on what version you are playing. That's wrong. They forgot to update that. That no longer applies when we're playing the international version here, not the Japanese version. Now to Clovian Keyhole 1. These are supposed to be tanks, and you're supposed to heal. Alright then, guess we'll come back to this later. At least we now unlocked Mirapo early on the 8th side. We now unlock Bloombell Forest, which as you may know is home to Mooglnyan. In order to unlock the Mooglnyan quest, we need a Coupona, which has a rare chance to drop for Machismo or Rocky Bad Boy hitting a tree, which costs stamina. I did a bit of testing, and it's not predetermined, meaning I can keep resetting to save money buying stamina, which is 12 bucks. No wonder zombies took over. I think this is the first time I'm using the Phantomar outside the main story. I grind for about 20 minutes before moving on the off chance that it's only available later. Now before we exit, we must explore this extremely expansive forest and find the expert of these X-puns, Agent X. The first phase wasn't all that exciting, but we ended up getting the Blaster! We managed to execute him before he made Nyan to go extinct. We did some rafting, then continued the coupon grind. How the hell does this tree have drinks, books, medicine, treasure maps, seemingly everything except the coupona? Spent over an hour doing this to no success, though apparently it's because I was cursed since I don't know Dragon Ball. Time for some more cranks. Of course I keep getting first prize of yokai took ages for in my main file. Luckily we do end up getting Magian Dogside naming her Blaze, and we got Safinyan named Bangia from Ambrosia Pavilion. With that, Dog now has a full team of 6 Nyans, as we make our way underground to fight Slackerjack, who was nothing special thanks to the holy XP orbs from Ambrosia Pavilion. Back on Nyans side we do some more rafting to the remote relic, and that ends the chapter. Both chapter 4s complete with 10 Nyans, 9 if you don't include repeats. Not bad. We have to immediately switch back to Dog in order to do some more key quests. I quickly sacked Rough Rat before beating up Solo Man, Bitter Batter, and Snipty Cricket, so that we can get the C rank watch. I once again accidentally befriended a yokai needed for later, and also purposely befriended one. After narrowly escaping Terror Time, we now need to help Meganyan exercise by playing tag, and fighting him when its body is ready. Unlike last time, he was pretty easy, and so I head to the gym to beat up Sergeant Burley and his meat. Hang on, I just realised. Anyway. Next up we went to Nocturne Hospital to spend way too long looking at these yokai. Those wondering in 2, this yokai is Droplet. No clue who it is in 3 though. Wait, is that Wobblewalk? I did a speedrun before getting Dr. Madaman, Dr. Rapper. We find his turtles before fighting him. Maybe I should have held back on the holy XP orbs looking back. Now we can utilize some of the yokai we befriended earlier to make BlazeCon tea. If y'all find something out, Slidewinder, why? Is he stupid? Slidewinder just wandered into the police station. Ah yes, a great idea. Tight hold it, he's Sidewinder's right there, go get him. What are you doing? Back to Nyans, we finally fully unlock Miracle, only to switch back and do the same on Dog's side. Luckily, only need to go 2 stops to go to Greenfields. Take notes, Yokai Watch 2. We also now unlock Hazy Lane, not useful for any Nyans, but we're going to need it for Skulk later on. We next went to Sunset Mall for realizing all our previous quests went horribly wrong, but actually that benefits us because we now get to do the extremely cool boss fight, Blazer Kong T versus Yokaiju. Obviously nothing different here as you don't even use your yokai for this, but still a cool boss fight nonetheless, with one of my favourite battle themes. Well, that's all the Dog's chapters done, back to Kupo Nut grinding. Alright then. I'll take it. First try. I was like, imagine we get it first try, and lo and behold, we did. Now we can play some hide and seek so we can finally get Nyan, who we named Percy. Time for today's cranks. Of course I get a first prize chance up when most of the Nyans are second prize. Well, nothing new. We do at least get Nyan from the pavilion, naming them Pastel. Continuing on with Nyate's story, we did some more key quests. Fun fact, the reason Taigappa isn't here is because he's actually not a Kappa, but a Suiko, which are often mistaken for Kappas. After almost losing a Bazaar room, we head to Meadowbrook Farm to finish the last key quest. Night. So if we came here at night, we'd be... Once again, what does Libeltub mean? We'd be what does that mean? We'd be liable to see the UFO, I do declare. What does that mean?
Yeah.
No. Look, chat. I thought it was a cut. I thought because she was talking, the game wasn't moving. And then the bloody, at least it wasn't the first one. You know, it was actually calculated, because, you know, it's actually faster to lose. Definitely. We did some more rafting to get back to the remote relic, then started yet another singular key quest. We then need to defeat Wright Brothers, Rocky Bad Boy, and BBQville to upgrade to rank C. Next we went to the scrapyard to grab a spring in order to gussy up the raft so we can get to Grumbler's Grotto. We grabbed Elguts over later and were once again exposed to the exaggerated explicit excluder. We also now unlock the drill and Agent X teleports. Well, I mean that's something all yokai can seemingly do, but still. The second and not last Agent X fight went similarly to the first, except the Nyans in the back dying. Seriously, is there any way to avoid that? With that, both chapter 5s are done with a total of 12 Nyans. We are now at the halfway point of the main story, with both sides merged together. The combined team is now Chan, Percy, Blaze, Nico, Stampy, and Nanaki. Went back to Dog's side in order to Hazy Lane and also grabbed Cough Cough. We then fused Jabanian so we can get Thornyan and Badanyan, both of which have a cutscene in this game when fused, so you can get both while still keeping Jabanian. Our different name. That's what, is it second or third time that's happened this run? We named them Tagocat and Tank respectively. Huh? I kind of wanted to see what... does the church guy also have this power? What the hell? The next day I started with some more cranks, only to get nothing out of 7 5-star coins. Though we do manage to get Watermelon Yan from Ambrosia Pavilion, naming it Ray. We do a Hazy Lane and then continue with the story in the Yoppel factory. This is mainly just wandering around, doing a couple battles and some minigames. Oh yeah, Stampy's now slippery for the since there are no other slippery Nyans in this game. Before you say anything, no, this fight doesn't count. We did some fishing for fighting the Yoppelbot, who was nothing special minus this bug of the arrows staying on screen. Chapter 6 done with 15 Nyans, quite a short one. I think it's about time we give Blush's Tea a shot again with our 2 healers. And apparently that still wasn't enough. Went back to Yoppel to befriend our first of many daily yokai, being Wobblenyan, and thus we implemented Pluie. We also got Jabanian S and Wonder Nyan named Cash and Logan. Jabanian S is level 50 by the way. I was only able to kill him because of the... I was gonna just ban it, but chat said it was fine, so if you consider this cheating, blame them, not me. He's at least gonna be staying in the back for now. After that quick detour, we switch back to dog for a... You know what, let's skip over this one. Here we go. Rock, paper. Rock, I guess. Scissors. Ha! I beat you. Eh? No, you don't. Whoa. I clicked rock, didn't I? Rigged. This is rigged. We quickly got the B rank watch, so we can enter the haunted house and do a rhythm minigame, which I was one off from a full combo. Yet again, nothing new from the crank, and not even from a British pavilion this time either. By the way, I did Hazy Lane every day with nothing interesting happening, so it won't be brought up again unless relevant. We did some more rafting to make it to Hazeltine Mansion. I'm still standing by the fact I like Hazeltine Mansion. It's a fun puzzle section that makes good use of switching characters. Don't think they're required befriend, but other than that, it's great. This is also where the chat started talking about eating yokai. Glad to see nothing's changed over the past almost a year. We then beat up Dr. Eraser, did some more puzzles, then fought Betty Buys. Not much interesting other than this, so here's a fun fact. This boss uses versus Merican yokai in her fight during the story, but just uses versus boss yokai in both the Sports Center and the Clueless rematch. And with that concludes chapter 7 with 18 Nyans. Now we need to talk to Madaman to... not another rhythm minigame. Anyway, we talked to Madaman to gussy up the raft again, so we can make it to Pecan Port, Hopper's Gorge, and Jukesville. We need to do more key quests, the first of which involves a Fruitnyan. Though you don't befriend them, but it's free advertising for these wonderful creatures known as Nyans. That's why I'm declaring this as the best key quest. No bias there. Gotta love some hide and seek with my fellow Nyans. The other two vastly inferior key quests were nothing special. Before finishing off, I had to do my daily gambling, and despite getting 8 cranks, I only got 1 Nyan, being Nyan. Great. Also at the pavilion though, I was able to get Sushi Nyan, who we named Alex. Just a quick warning for most of these daily yokai, you do need to scan the QR code in order for them to show up. Just giving yourself the items doesn't work, and don't ask me how I know this. I then fought Agent X for the 3rd and somehow not last time. Don't you think this is a bit excessive? That concludes chapter 8 with 20 Nyans. Got the clown. Oh no. Well. No. I didn't know he stopped if you were interacting with the iPo here. Well. Yes. Perfect. Perfect localization though, level 5. We quickly got the A rank watch, then went back to grab some more daily yokai. In Hazeltine Mansion, we got Ace Nyan, wrong kind of ace. We got Ace Nyan and King Jabanyan named Mike and Cooper. And in the old mansion, we got Jabanyan, Lube, and hovernyan Cow Cow called T'Challa and Mew Mew. These guys did put up quite a bit of a fight, and even knocked out level 50 Mikash. Doesn't help that these guys are in teams of 3. They are level 45, so I guess that makes sense. Hovernyan Cow Cow will be very useful later on due to having 2 equipment slots. Now we continue on with the story, in my favourite area, New Yokai City. Except during this chapter when you fight 50 billion ghoulies in a row. But it's all worth for seeing the boss's house. Speaking of, here we can get Hovernyan S, who we named Scarlet. Regular Hovernyan should have been not befriended in this game, like I'm surprised he's not. Like now would have been perfect for her. Or heck, could have even been earlier during Dogs Chapter 5, but nope, it's a post-game quest. So at least not a QR code daily yokai, but still, Blasters did it, no reason it couldn't have been the same here. I'm gonna be honest when I say this is probably the worst lot of key quests in this game. We matching Slackerjack? Okay, I guess that's cool. Hoaxie Coaxie again? Alright then. A 3rd time immediately after with no differences? What? That's all just the exact same ghoulie fights 50 billion times in a row, with the occasional something else. Yeah, I think this is a good time to complain. There's not even any Nyans in these ones. Halfway through, I took a quick detour to get Pocket Miracle. Even though I haven't lost at all to something I shouldn't have lost to since before chapter 6, I decided to spin the wheel for fun just to make things more interesting, since it hasn't really been that difficult, and I got completely changed the team. Well, this isn't very punishing because I could just use my high level yokai that I just got. Now we fight Rongo Swirll, who went down easily as expected. Chapter 9 finished off with 25 Nyans. Starting off chapter 10, I'm able to get Hovernyan B, naming him Plague, then got yet another Nyan from the Crank, as well as Nyan from the Pavilion, named Husker. That was RNG Tower, Bada Bing Tower time. Yippee! We do some rafting, horse riding, shopping, sneaking, performing, chasing, and fighting Doppelbot. Though not without clearing every other floor, minus like 3. At the 555th floor, we once again met with Agent X, who we execute for the 4th and final time, bringing us to the final boss, the Ghoulfather. I'll change everything until it resembles the world of my dreams. Please no, nobody likes a remake. Exactly, Whisper, that's what I'm saying. A Yokai Watch 3 remake on Switch would be horrible. Like, can you imagine how awkward the battle system would be? See, Whisper gets it. Well, here we are. Our army of cats versus the Ghost Mafia boss space UFO alien conspiracy guy thing. Mike, cue the montage. And with that, we get congratulated by our favourite cardboard cutouts when we finish off the main story with a total of 28 Nyans, and thus concludes the Yokai Watch 3 Nyans only. Not. Were you not paying attention when I said we're going for all bosses? This game has by far the most content, of course we're doing the post-game. Whisper even tells you that. If only more people did that for the challenge runs. This would also be where part 1 ends, but it was voted to make this one big video, so we're gonna keep going. We're starting things off with some Blaster's Tea. We still don't really have a good healer for Blaster's Tea, so I lost yet again, despite everyone being around level 45. No clue how that works. You know what that means. B rank and below only. Before we do anything else though, it's gambling time. 8 cranks, going all in on 5-star coins. Come on, it's gotta be something. Please, anything, I'll take any Nyan. I should have said that. Because, I have to use them. Let's go, Sailor Nyan! It was worth it. That's all I wanted. And we got Sailor Nyan. The best possible outcome. I got probably the best possible Nyan out of that. Meet our new healer, Simba. Though she's unfortunately A rank, so we'll have to hold off using her for now. We also get Sir Nyan's lot named Percival, and a second Bada Nyan. My luck is rarely ever this good when it comes to Yokai Watch. I triple Blaster's Tea. Since I can't use Sailor Nyan, I noticed that Strawberry Nyan had 2 healing moves. With that, we finally beat Junkernaut. This goes to show how much of a difference having a proper healer is, even if they're under-leveled. We then got Nyan from the pavilion named Mufasa. Wait a minute, that's Japan! On the earth there. Interesting. You don't count Juggernaut, our first boss of the post-game is Norwell. Don't know why I always start with this one, but hey, it has more challenge. This challenge run feels like it needs. It was quite close, but we managed to barely do it. I had to fight Whale Man directly afterwards. This one was much tougher, as he turns the yokai into fish. Each attack was almost one-shotting. People in the chat didn't think I had it, but I did it. This is why you always believe. We also get Hovernyan from this quest, who we named Scar. Chat then want me to do the Hovernyan quest, so I did that next. I won the race first try thanks to my bike race experience from Yokai 2, and we named Hovernyan Prison Boots. Back to Blaster's T, I decided to just grind the suspicious room in order to unlock more areas, just to get out of the way, with our team of Plague, Percival, Stampy and Simba. Stampy's skill reveals the exit, and the other three are just good at their role. Also, gotta get used to hearing Blaster a lot since that's Jabanyan B's only voice line. After unlocking most of the areas, I did the crank again and got Robinyan F named Gumball, and another Watermelon Yan. Next up is Hailey for the final time. Ruby J following me really makes it difficult to see what's in front. So then we fought Skulk, which had a few deaths, but I also learned the meaning of 4949, 7979 and even 794 from the chat. With that out of the way, back to Blasters and Suspicious Room grinding. How fun! Oh come on, why is it this one again? Why is it this one again?
I'm back in the building again!
How many times have I gotten this one? 4 times in a row, Jesus. I did a few attempts with one more area left, but I gave up and decided to move on because this is taking too long. Jack, now's not your time. I didn't do them last time, but I thought I did the Cluvian Continent rematches because why not? These guys are actually surprisingly strong, so I only did Rongo and Slackerjack for now, mainly because they take too long. No Jack, not yet. I realised I got a Basset Nyan stone from the Sus rune, so with the help of auras we got 4 Basset Nyans. If you haven't noticed by now, with the exception of Kyubi Nyan, I haven't been naming the dupes, so our main Basset Nyan was named Mysticat. Enough Sus room, enough rematches, let's get into some actual Blaster's tea. Mike, another montage. We were then able to get Kintaranyan from Temple of Closest 2 named Spampton, something I'm sure the chat doesn't regret. Temple of Closest 3 houses the Swirly Soul, which is needed for the S-rank watch, hence why I didn't do it immediately. I was holding off until I unlocked this dungeon, so I don't have to do more fishing. Totally not, because I forgot until I already started Blaster's T or anything. But before we go and do that, back to more blasters. Oh. I don't know if I've ever seen a ultimate. Okay, this is not good. Are we getting killed by handful because the CPUs walk right into the bloody fire? I have gateway pushes. I like how Stampy's just standing there. Thanks. You're really helping. And now you're dead. Really? What was that? So I did lose here, but was it really my fault? Ah, fine, here's your wheel, no items. Okay, not a bad one to get for Blaster's T, so I don't use items much anyway. Okay, that should have hit him. But see, Stampy's just doing nothing. Not even attempting to do anything. Oh, he moved there. There we go. See, you just run into the bloody fire. What are you doing? I have to waste my time reviving you instead of hitting the boss. Come on, Sailor Nyan, you're doing nothing. At least heal. Like, yeah, alright, you're surrounded by fire, you can't even move. But at least heal. What is... None of them are doing anything. Chat, you're seeing this, right? You're seeing this. None of them are doing anything but run into the fire. You're seeing that, right? You were seeing that. You guys witnessed that, didn't you? We were seeing the same thing there. See, I feel like in Lightning Only, I just got lucky and kept on doing that. Yeah, look at them, they're doing nothing. Oh no, they die. Yippee. Can I ride 4 for your Scrum Fist? Yes, I can. Oh, we're still going third boost. Okay. Hello? Yeah, no, they're all just standing there. And they're gonna die to Furious Karma Fist because they're not moving for some reason. And the Nyans are doing nothing. I can't even switch to him. I can't switch to him. There's nothing I can do here. I can't. Okay, there we go. I couldn't have done anything there. I couldn't have dodged or anything. Okay, hands full and hands galore, now that I think about it, are probably where the AI are at its worst. I have never seen them straight up just do nothing. If they walk into Gutsybone's fire, they'd at least still be using moves. Here, they just get paralyzed. Don't even mention Furious Karma Fists or Show of Hands. It's like a Muncher Maelstrom on oddball toadstools, except you can't stun him from this. Okay, scrap Blaster's T for now. Forget what I said earlier, we're doing the S rank now. Our next quest was the Hovernyan quest. We Hovernyan, and hang on, how did he survive that? Next up was Hovernyan 28, who was somewhat challenging. Okay, yeah. He's stunned? He can be stunned? Since when? Wait, you can target his... What? Since when was that a thing? How have I never known that? Did not ever think to check the targeting when fighting this guy. There's that Uber Geek, you say. After gathering up the 5 Uber Geeks, we were then able to get Ultimate Hovernyan, who was named Temmie. After changing around the team a bit, we quickly knocked out some more boss quests, being Dewheel in the Abandoned Tunnel, and Chirpster in the Old Mansion. I do realise I probably should have done these during the story, but it's a bit late for that now. I promise though that'll be the case in future challenge runs of this game. I got lucky and had 3 Yo Criminals spawn, so I called them in order to fight Mass Mutterer. Where is he? Where's the ideas for this down? Where is he? Where's Mr. Mutterer? Where is he? Up here? Please, no, I don't want to lose him. Where is he? Where is he? Where is he? Or not. I was gonna... Wait. When did I last save? Hang on. I can fight Chirpster again. Hold on, I can save this, I can save this. Oh wait, no, this is after we... Okay, we don't have to refight Chirpster. Okay, great, great. Thanks to my big brand, we don't need to wait another week. Unfortunately, Mazamotor isn't too strong right now, so we beat him relatively easily. If only he scaled, considering how your criminal levels vary, because I highly doubt many people would have fought him during the main story. I decided that because the chat, and admittedly myself as well, kept on saying you're taking too long, I put on 1 hour silence interrupted by you're taking too long. And there it is. Those not in the know, they at the time recently released Deltarune Chapter 4 features a boss which says, "You're taking too long," and other variations of it, just so we're all on the same page here. Jack, you can come back now, it's your time. Oh, he already left. Anyway, on today's cranks, I ended up getting the snow... I'm so brain-rot, I was about to say Snowdown Pass, Jesus Christ. I'm too brain-rot from Snowstorm Cloak. I ended up getting the Showdown Pass, which allows me to befriend the last Nyanmurai, so I did the Spirit quest in order to reach him. Wait a minute. That thing said Hirikari Sword, but then the actual sword was called Final Slash. Oh, come on. No, seriously, yeah, I know it's taking too long. It's not my fault though. We named him Azuki. It's not even consistent. See, underneath where it says Ultimate, it says Harakiri Sword. But in the description, it says Harakiri Sword. Skipping past Handsful, I decided to do Statue of Clunubis. But then I realized auras existed, so I used a healing aura to beat Handsful. Statue of Clunubis 2 allows me to get Odyssey Nyan, who we named Big, one of my personal favourites and one of our best healer options along with Sailor Nyan. Statue of Clunubis 3 and especially 4 are important, as that's where we get insightful treasures, which give a whole load of XP to your yokai. This is the best XP grinding method in the game. I'd recommend specifically Statue of Clunubis 4, as that also has Forbidden Fruit, which you'll presumably also be wanting. Back to the main game, we grab another Hovernyan S and Hovernyan Cow Cow to turn into souls. The Hovernyan S soul boosts crit damage, and the Cow Cow soul boosts crit chance. So if we give them both to Mew Mew, they become a DPS monster. Hovernyan in Hovernyan and Hovernyan, featuring Hovernyan from the Nyanmei Horror series. Next up is a Plundros quest, which you might know starts us off in Terror Time. That's not good. His hitbox is massive. I did not touch him though, you guys saw that, right? I don't know if we will win, but I'll give it a shot. Let's see, what is it? I wanted to save this guy for later, but well, I guess we're fighting him now. Garg, what happened? We're like level 50. I mean, you're not complaining, I don't have to spin the wheel, but still. I keep saying this, but it's kind of sad how much the Onis fell off. Hashtag not my Garg. Anyway, that Plundro has but it ain't right that Plundro has cause to worry, but what? Makes sense. Here we go. Oh, this is the same situation as Rovanian Tony. I don't know this was a thing. I was about to say, oh, I forgot about this, but then the chest showed up. I'm like, wait, I've never seen this before. How have I never seen these in my years of fighting this guy? Anyway, Plundros felt about as strong as Gargos and wasn't too bad. Dang, now that's too close for comfort for my liking. Shut up! The quest's almost over. There's this random alleyway where we find Grey Nyan, which we named Greenland because that's what Google Docs auto-corrected it to. Jokes aside, Gumball helps train him to become Terminator, who kills himself so he can befriend him, and we call him Cypher. Wait, what? What just happened? I heard Pinky Boo and then I heard the heart noises. Didn't know that was a thing. My next goal was to gather 63 gate globes for the Pearly Chamber of Whimsy, as I'd already been doing Gates of Whimsy, so there's not much more I need. Not much happened, other than chat suggesting the idea of a ban wheel, where we get a bunch of chatters, and whoever it lands on gets banned. Okay then. If I had a nickel for every time I randomly got Terror Time with Ogreless while grinding for gate globes, I'd have 2 nickels, which isn't a lot, but it's weird that it happened twice. We actually managed to beat him this time though, and he was obviously stronger than Garg, but come on Ogre, really? We're barely higher level than when we fought your brother. I know you can do better. Hashtag not my Ogre. Clearly also hashtag not my Whisper, are you blind? On the topic of Ogreless, if anyone knows where to get a regular image of Ogreless, that would be greatly appreciated, because the one on the wiki is the one used everywhere. And me and some others have been looking everywhere and can't find the original. So if anyone watching this thinks they might be able to find it, please let me know, because it's really annoying. Who put this on the wiki and why? And I have so many questions. This has been driving me mad for the past almost 2 years. The best we have at the moment is this one made by a hat guy from a picture I took of a guidebook. Back to the game, we enter this random garage which takes us to the Pearly Chamber of Whimsy. iPhone, this is Nyans, Dog's the other one. We make it through the buoyant booths by failing the ramp about 3 times, buying my favourite drinks, Booth Key 1 and Booth Key 2, doing the hardest quiz known to man. Which of these is Wiggling good at? It's studying, right guys? Or is it surfing? I don't think it's dancing. It's gotta be studying. Ah, I thought so. Yeah, Wiglin's famous for studying, isn't he? And Sep is famous for soft-locking your game. There we go. Well, his name was Superhero's ultimate move. Chat, what was this one again? I know this, obviously. I was paying attention. I know it, I know it, I know this one. It's so obvious, guys. I can't believe you didn't get it. Wow, guys. I'm so good. I bet you guys didn't know that one. Keyboard? Nah, what keyboard? I don't have a keyboard. Here's a question, please listen carefully. Baku's skill is... What are these questions? Why is it all of a sudden hard? I mean, easy, yeah. These questions are easy. I know this one. This one is so easy. This one is the easiest one yet. Easier than the superhero one. Wow, I'm so good at my yokai knowledge. Who doesn't know that? If you don't know that, you're not a real fan. Hand drilling. Wahaha, that's a spirit. Let's get jiggy with it in the parley room. Battle me. Rhinomus, what does that mean? That's an interesting way of wording things. Gee, I wonder what's on the other side of this door. A boss fight. Who could have seen this coming? The tornado fight was very close, but nothing we couldn't do. How was this guy stronger than Ogreless? Speaking of, we now go back to Blaster's Tea to do Pyramid of Clue. You know what that means. Mike, another montage, please. with that, the final boss of Blaster's Tea is defeated. There's still obviously a lot more to do though. From the crank, in Springdale this time, I get another watermelon yan and melon yan, but nothing new. The Kloofing's dungeons are up next, and they contain quite a few nyans. Kloofing's clenched paw 1 gives us a Rudy, clenched paw 3 gives us Rubius J, but we already have him. Raised paw doesn't give us anything. Spade mouth 1 gives Puppy Nyan, Spade mouth 2 gives Chimpan Yan, Spade mouth 3 gives Pheasant Yan, Spade mouth 4 gives Jet Yan, and Spade mouth 5 gives Sailor Nyan, but we also already have her. Next I did some stone dungeons, being Demonic Labyrinth for Icaro West, which also has Super Nyan, but I didn't bother going for him. Tragic Labyrinth for Soul Cleaver, and Labyrinth of Valor for the lastest nyanmurai. Then I finally unlocked the last tier of the Kloofing Continent, so we can finally do the rest of the Kloofing Continent rematches. Even at our level, they are still pretty strong, but we managed to beat the Executor, the Opalbots, Betty Buys, Hoaxy Coaxy, and Dr. Madaman. I noticed that Hoaxy Coaxy uses versus odd yokai here for some reason, similar to the Betty Buys fact I mentioned earlier. I then got Momonyan from the crank named Daya for the complete set of Momotaro Hunters. I then used up some insightful treasures I grinded for, so we can do Enma Palace. The start of the quest has us fighting Umbral Enma, who, if I'm gonna be honest, is probably one of the most difficult fights so far. Since he's not even a boss, I can't just dodge half his attacks, and also the does barely any damage to him, even when high. We then fought him again as Lord Enma, and then again as Enma Woken. No, this doesn't count before anyone says anything. These battles also give a ton of XP, so that's nice. Now we have the final Blaster's Tea dungeon unlocked, Enma Palace. Mike, one final Blaster's Tea montage. And with that, we're finally done with Blaster's Tea. Thank Enma we don't need to do Enma Palace 7 this run. Now we get the Shamlake Shorts to the Zombie Night. Not gonna bother with the montage or anything from this, since it's no different from normal. And nothing interesting really happened, other than a few close calls and weird zombie AI behaviour. I'd obviously love to see Zombie Night speedruns, as barely anyone runs main Yo Crouch 3 for obvious reasons. And I'd love to see what kind of strats people would use. Alright, here he is. Chat, use your tutorial on how to beat Hollow Guard. Right, kill the other zombies. Alright. Wait for an opportunity to hit him from behind. And then hide. Or try and just avoid him. He's gonna be running. Pretty quickly as well, so you need to be extra careful. Alright, follow after him. He's like not gonna turn around, but he did there, so just be careful. Right. Always best to be safe, so let's go around the other way. That's not good, that's not good. Die.
Here.
You don't do that. You instead do what I just did 2 more times, and you should beat him if you have all the upgrades. Don't do that, chat. That's bad. That's not how you're supposed to beat him. I mean, you can do that. I mean, it worked for me. It's best not to, though, because you're probably going to die. But if you have all the upgrades, it should only take 3 hits as sneak attacks. Kill all the zombies. I mean, probably just safer to kill all of them anyway. Just be careful, because you can go in that room. Necrosnarl.
Yeah.
Hit him from behind. So it's safe to just take another hit. Okay. And then, boom. He should be dead now. Hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Make sure you like and subscribe for more Zombie Night tutorials. Now that we've beaten Zombie Night, that's one last thing the clown can get you to do. So now's a good time to beat Zomgirls. I know he's not in the medallion, but I thought I'd beat him as a wee bonus, because why not? Now we grab an aura and wait around for a bit to encounter Orcanos. Orca was actually challenging, unlike the other two, but he's still definitely easier here than the other games. Hashtag not my Orca. We're in the final stretch now, only 2 more bosses left before we go for the Tower of Enlightenment. He knows all and he knows all awoken. As you might know, the He Knows All quest is infamously locked behind a battle board for Mr. Sandman. This requires doing the lottery, and I only have 5 lottery tickets. I haven't been using the vacuum cleaner much at all, but luckily, tickets only cost 2 trash, so I'm able to get to 12. And the sand suit after sleeping requires 16. So we'll have to resort to the other method, being random drops from Flip It. Thankfully though, we have Big, whose skill makes this much easier. What I didn't realise though is how low the odds are, so I thought it'd just be more efficient to do something else while we wait for the vacuum cleaner. You've probably all been shouting at your screen saying, "Where's Shogunyan? When are they gonna get Shogunyan?" And so was the chat, who convinced me to get him, even though I originally wasn't. So now's the time for that, I guess. We need 7 more befriends, as I only have Jabani at the moment. We get Meridox from fusing Meripo and SB, Smogmella from Evolving Smuggling, Faux Kappa from the Riverbank in Blossom Heights, and Total Dude and Arachnus from Quests. By the time we did that, I finally have enough trash for the lottery tickets. So we fuse for Mr. Sandman, so we can finally start this bloody quest. We go to Springdale Business Tower and fight He Knows All. He thankfully never got off his ultimate, due to always keeping at least 1 employee alive and making sure our Nyans aren't all in the middle so we can actually shoot him. We then befriend Baku from Graves and Blossom Heights, and finally Hovernyan from a quest which involved hide and seek. We named Tempura, and with that we can finally get Shogunyan, who we named Qianpao. Now we assemble the final team, being Mew Mew, Qianpao, Blaze, Stampy, Simba, and Big, which I'll go more in depth on in a bit once we have our equipment and stuff. For now though, I level everyone up, give them the right attitude, and max out their skills. As it turns out, the Hovernyan S-Soul we gave Mew Mew isn't the best of its kind, so I quickly befriend Untidy to use his soul instead, as well as another Hovernyan Cow soul for Qianpao. Alright, and then after this we can start the He Knows All Woken quest. No! That's the 3rd time this run. Or not. I guess we'll have to wait for tomorrow. With that out of the way, we can move on to this final quest. We need Meridox, but we already have him from Shogunyan, so all that's left is to fight He Knows All Awoken, whilst discussing what specific yokai the theme song could be referring to. You know, Ferdinand messes up your hair, Pandal could probably trip you up, you know, Jabanian might give you a flat tire, and Bob makes your socks go missing in the dryer. Yeah, anyway, He Knows Awoken. Yeah, it was fine, not much different from normal, and went about the same as regular He Knows All. He put up his barrier at 1 HP and we killed him with the and that's kinda cool, I guess. Definitely still underwhelming for what's supposed to be the 2nd hardest boss. Alright, now we're ready to take on the game's ultimate challenge, the Tower of Zenlightenment. Part of what makes this so tough is that on the last 4 floors you're not allowed to use items, with the exception of miracle medicine in the overworld. Let me explain the team before we get into things. First off, I wanted to have 2 strength attackers, 2 spirit attackers, and 2 healers for balance. First up is Mimu, who as I've mentioned has 2 equipment slots, which I have both a hovernyan cow soul and an untidy soul for boosted crits. His skill also boosts crit chance. Changpao, similarly, now also has a hovernyan cow soul, with his skill boosting crit damage instead. Blaze is just a strong fire technique attacker, not much to say there. Stampy I've also made a technique attacker with voltage and strawberry roar. He has healer moon for some extra healing whilst in the back. I've also made him slippery for the
Blaster!
As well as making him B rank, so I can give him the paradise bomb. Big and Simba are just good healers. Big will start in the front, while Simba stays in the back to activate healer moon. And that's our team. No R's or anything this time. Can my army of cats beat the Daruma guy or whatever he's supposed to be? You know what time it is? It's roar time. Not quite. Also, Garg, how'd you even get in here? Well, whilst you're at it, check up on Jack for me. I hope I didn't upset him. Anyway, Mike, roll the montage. And that's it. No deaths. Didn't even have to switch. It honestly wasn't all that difficult, and I very much knew that going in, unlike lightning only. But it was still a fun battle. I don't think I didn't see you guys in the chat doubting me. This is why you never not trust, and you gotta believe in whatever else it is that I say. It's fine. My goal of every boss is now complete, and we are technically done now. If you're familiar with lightning only, you know that we're still not quite done. As a bonus, I decided to do all the boss rushes. Mike, play the final montage. Well, that's now Yokar's 3 Nyans only done, but I'd only been going for 2 hours, so we came to the only logical conclusion. We decided to do one last hunt for the rarest yokai of all. Tasty pasta. We finished off with 75 total Nyans. Was this as difficult as lightning only? I wouldn't say so. Was it still a fun and interesting challenge run? Absolutely. I know I've been taking way too long with this video due to procrastination among other reasons, but I hope it's worth the wait. Let's hope it doesn't take too long to do the other Nyans only videos. I also find since this was the first, things were a bit messy, especially at the beginning, but trust me, the other games go a lot more smoothly. If you don't want to wait though, the full Nyans only streams are in playlists if you want to go watch those. At the moment, I'm also streaming 100% the Yokohama Medallion, if you want to watch me do the same thing over and over for hours. Anyway, as usual, like and sub if you like this and want to see more, and comment your favourite Nyan in this game. Shoutouts to members Tycoon Boat, Metal Flint, Opalkitsune, Epic Alien, Lanny Face, Hat Guy, Low Quality Sam, Common Wing, Untailed Goose Guy, Noble Samurai, George Sanchez, CHZ Gamer Relic, Golden Toban Nyan, Void Vessel, Jackalope, Koto Tutora, Riot, Little Slime, Galaxy Boy, Kinda Grape, Kaosu, Plasma Producers, Lumin09, and Kit Does Stuff. And I'll see you in the next one. Alright, what's up next? I don't know how I did it, but... Oh, Hovernyan. Oh, that... Okay, I'll tank one more. Darkness of the Sultan Yets. I'll be there with bells on.
You're taking too long.